Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Norat Below, and if you're new here, I say you are highly welcome. And first of all, before moving into the video, I want to say a big thank you to all my old subscribers for sticking around. I know I've been away for a little while now, and I'm so sorry about that. I had some personal stuff to take care of, and ever since I've been out from maternity leave, I've been engaged with so many things such as working and being a mom, being a wife. All of those things are actually eating down on me. It's kind of keep me busy on that part, and making video is something that I really find difficult now, but not to worry at all. I'm going to try my best to try to come back on here once in a while and make some amazing content for you guys. So I've been thinking of putting more of a lifestyle vlog on here, but then again, this is not the reason why this channel is up. So today I'm back with something exciting, all the exciting content that you've been waiting for. And for those of you who are new on my channel, this channel is typically based on talking about the ins and outs of Canada immigration, and I talk about pathways that you can take to come over to Canada, be it the working route, the student route, and also permanent resident route, and everything in between. Today, I'm jumping straight back into it with some super interesting topic. And this is Canada really closing its doors to immigrants? I know you've probably seen the headlines making around, right? Like flying everywhere right now. And you've probably heard another vlogger like myself talk about what's happening in Canada. I mean, what's the immigration status in Canada? And this is based on work permit, students, and also Canadians and permanent residents around. And so many new restrictions, but what's really going on? So in this video, I'm going to break it all down for you. And not just what is happening, but also give you tips on how you can further ahead if you're still looking to come to Canada. So whether you're a student, a temporary worker who's already here, or you're someone that is still back home and you're trying to come into Canada to start a new life, I'll tell you exactly what to do and how you can navigate these changes. So let's jump in. First off, the answer to the question that if Canada is closing its doors to immigrants, the answer is capital yes. Of course, things are getting really tighter in Canada. Let's be real, guys. Canada is tightening up its immigration policy. So if you are thinking of coming to Canada as an international student or on a work permit, I am not going to sugarcoat it for you at all. It's really harder now. The economy is struggling, jobs are limited in some sectors, and housing is crazy expensive. And the healthcare system is stretched thin. This is specifically due to the the recent influx of foreigners from across the world to Canada, being a student via the student route, and also permanent resident route and workers. There are so many people now in Canada that Canada can take care of. So so many social amenities such as healthcare, like I've mentioned, even going through public transport now is becoming something that wasn't before. And most people have to go on standing while commuting via the public transit, and it's becoming really serious in Canada. So this is one of the reasons why Canada is closing its door on immigrants. I want to believe this is going to be a temporary measure just to ensure that things, everyone here are already settled before they open the door again for people to come in. So guys, you can see the reason why Canada is taking this action, because it's really necessary. And currently they are being more selective on who they let in, on either on the short term or who they let in as permanent residents. And I can recall the last time I checked the IRCC website, I think for this year, the draw they've had this year so far is about 1 or 2 draws, if I'm not mistaken, for you to know that people, things are really taking the going on the slow lane now. They are trying to figure out things for people that are already here than bringing in more people. So my advice here for those that are still planning to come to Canada, I'll advise that you research thoroughly. You need to do your due diligence. I always say this in my videos. Ensure you do a thorough research. Focus on jobs and programs that are in demand currently in Canada, and these are seen in areas such as the healthcare sector, construction, engineering sector, and also agriculture. These sectors are still taking people from across the world. So if you're lucky, if your occupation or your experience is in this sector, I'll encourage that to keep pushing your application out, because you're still needed here in Canada. Be sure to position yourself where Canada needs worker, and also try as much as possible to tailor your CV or your cover letter to what's it's been needed here. Now let's talk about what's happening to the international students. Canada used to be the dream country for many international students from across the world. And this is due to the great education, the opportunities to work while studying in Canada, and most importantly, the chance to stay here in Canada permanently after studies. This is something most international students look out for. But now things have actually changed. Most of student visas are being cut back due to the current situation happening here in Canada. And also government is getting really picky on those that will be given visa to come over to Canada to study. They are prioritizing sectors that they need people to come over and, and take turn and work. And these sectors are seen as those that I've mentioned: agriculture, construction, and healthcare. So my advice here is that if you are an aspiring student, I'll advise that you make sure to apply to those programs that Canada are currently in needs. You should also focus on universities and colleges that have a strong PGWP, and that is the postgraduate work permit, and try to get into sector that Canada needs more workers. And lastly, try to start putting all your paperwork together. Try to do all your paperwork on time, because the application for student visa is currently eating up in Canada. Okay, now let's talk about those that are already in Canada as temporary residents. It's getting really tougher for you too. I know, guys, everyone is affected right now. Now, for all my temporary residents out there, I know how you guys are feeling. I've been there before, and guys, I know when I say that it's really, really getting tighter. The job market isn't as before, and the Canadian dreams, the mind that you have back at home that you brought here, hoping that when you get here you're gonna have a better life, it's not really happening at the moment. I know how you're feeling, and this is due to the current situation in Canada. The government of Canada is tightening up work permits, and unless you are in sectors like healthcare or maybe agriculture or construction, so getting a long-term work visa might be something that would be easy for you to come by like it used to. And if you are in other sectors like maybe the retail sector or hospitality sector, you might also find it hard to get a work permit that will make you stay in Canada for a long time. So my advice for you guys is that if you're already here on temporary visa in Canada, I'll encourage that you try to upskill, try to learn new things, try to get more certification, better yourself, be a better version of yourself, get more education if possible. And also looking for training programs that can help you transition into the sector that are in a high demand currently in Canada will help you along in the long run. Let's take for instance here, if you're working in hospitality, you can decide to take some certification, some courses that can help you transition into healthcare sector, because that's way you can be able to continue living your life and knowing that there will be a job there for you once you have that skill. I'll also encourage that you keep an eye on the express entry pool, the express entry system as well. Try to get in there as fast as possible, and try to accumulate points by, upskilling in your English language test results, also getting the Canadian work experience in critical sector. Now let's move on to the main gist of the day. The housing crisis in Canada is no joke to anyone right now. It's one of the biggest reasons that immigration is being slowed down as of today in Canada. If you have been looking at the housing market lately, recently, then you know how tough it is right now in Canada. Paying rent is through the roof. Everything is just going really high like never before. And if you're looking into buying a home in provinces like in some high broke provinces like Toronto or Vancouver, even Alberta, if you're trying to buy a home in any provinces in Canada, you have to pay through your nose, because the prices are really, really high and nobody's willing to pay that much to buy a house. More people moving into Canada as of now, it's actually even making it worse. So this is one of the reasons why the government of Canada is trying to slow down immigration. And I think it makes sense, right? But if we try to tweak the table a little bit around, like flip the table to the other side, if Canada is having fewer people to come to work, if they are easing down on immigration as what is going on in Canada, does that also mean that they're going to have fewer people to help with constructing the house that people really need to live in? This is really a tricky situation, because They need people to actually come over to build these houses that people are going to live in. And isn't that on that part too is a kind of a thing that I'm still trying to figure out, but I'm very sure they'll figure it out in a way or two. I'll encourage that you should do your homework on affordable provinces in Canada before making that move. Places like Manitoba, New Brunswick, Saskatchewan are still affordable provinces that you can, decide to give a try. I have a video on my channel where I talk about affordable places to raise a family conveniently. You might want to check it out after this video. These areas might have more job opportunities and also low cost of living. Plus, they have their own provincial nominee programs that can give you the opportunity to apply for permanent residence. Now, to spice things up, where are my French speakers? Where are you guys? You guys, you've got a special pathway. If you're a French speaker, I've got some good news for you. Even with all these restrictions, there is still a clear pathway for French speakers through the Express Entry French-speaking stream. Canada is trying to boost the French-speaking communities that are outside Quebec, and there is a special program that you can apply through the Express Entry and get this opportunity at your fingertips. So if you've got language skills and work experience in some fields like healthcare or tech industries, then I can tell you that you've got a good opportunity in getting into Canada via permanent resident. Like, you come in as permanent resident if you are, a French speaker through this stream. So my advice is, if you speak French, I'll advise that you leverage that skill, because the French speaking pathway is still currently open in Canada. And if your French skill need a boost, consider language courses or certification that can help you boost your abilities in this sector. And if you're already fluent in speaking French, I want you to emphasize that skill in your application whenever you're putting out your application. And make sure you're applying to programs or jobs where French speaking is needed, where being bilingual is an advantage. Now let's talk about how these changes affect the Canadians. I mean, the permanent residents and Canadians generally. On the one hand, fewer immigrants means less competition for jobs, right? I mean, there are going to be lots of jobs flying around where you don't have more people here. And also, there's going to be lower demand in housing markets. And that means that when that happens, peradventure, the housing costs will come down drastically, because, the market is going to be kind of saturated, and people are going to have affordable spaces to live. Right. So this could actually help some Canadians and permanent residents to get job opportunities on time and also get affordable spaces to live, which is good, right? But on the other end, if sectors like the healthcare sectors, construction and agriculture sector are already dealing with shortage of workers, and if they cut back too much on immigration, these problems may get even worse. There's going to be long waits at the hospitals, not enough homes to build. There is a lot at stake here, really. So my advice for Canadians, this could be a great time for you to explore opportunities in those sectors that are very much open to newcomers. And these, I've said it countless times in this video: agriculture, healthcare, and construction. And if you're looking for job security, you need to focus on those sectors, like right now. And if you're feeling the pressure of the rising housing costs, watch how those immigration changes play out. And you might find things starting to level off, or you could simply see new challenges if the workforce shrinks too much. So I would like to reiterate that question again, and that is Canada really closing its doors? Well, I'll say not really. I mean, not fully, but the doors are really and definitely narrowing. And this happens every single day. Like, every day we wake up to hear different news of new policy going on in the immigration sector in Canada. And this is really making people to, not to have all the information they really need based on what's happening in Canada. So I'll say that that's the current happening here right now. So whether you're an international student or a temporary resident, or even if you're someone that is still looking to come into Canada, the truth is the immigration is tightening really bad. And I cannot sugarcoat this, because that is the current reality in Canada. We're really focusing on people who can fill high demand job in some sectors like the healthcare, construction, and agriculture. And if you're a French speaker, you've still got a pretty good shot at this. All you have to do is get into the pool and, get all your your paperwork, get them together, and put out a good application, and you're good to go. Now, to round this up, I'd like to give my final advice. So no matter where you are at in your immigration journey to Canada, the key here is to stay focused and adapt. Be sure to get all the information you need, do your due diligence, and gather as much useful information as you can. Okay, so guys, I'm supposed to say this from the beginning of this video that I'm not an immigration consultant or an immigration lawyer. Everything I say in this video today is about what I've read so far online and also my research. So I would say that you shouldn't take all the words in my mouth for it. I'll encourage that you do your own research. Be sure that everything you want to do, you are in sync with what is currently happening in Canada. Get the up-to-date news, get the up-to-date gist. You can ask questions. Be there. Just try to gather all the information yourself and know what and how to apply. So that's it. I'll also advise that you focus your research where your skills are needed and make sure your application stands out. Now is the time for you to plan strategically and think long term. It's very important. So that's it for today's video, guys. If you've got any questions or any thoughts, be sure to drop it in the comment section. I'll do my best to see to each and everybody's questions and thoughts, And also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you are new on my channel, or if you are here and you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'll encourage that you do. Just click on the red button saying subscribe, and also be sure to turn on your bell notification so you don't miss out on any immigration tips that I'll be posting in the future. And I'll see you again in my next video, and until then, bye.